Picking Ashton Jeanty was a mistake, and it's not even his fault. That's the tough thing. It's not on Ashton Jeanty. You bet on a rookie running back to succeed behind no offensive line. The Raiders deserve what they're getting right now. Like, they wanted dessert before they got their veggies. You know what I mean? You know the classic saying, you got to eat your meal, you got to eat your veggies, and then maybe mom will give you a dessert. The Raiders went straight to the cherry on top. And they forgot you got to build an offensive line. You got to build a defense. You got to get a quarterback that can get you to the playoffs before you get a running back, before you invest in an elite talent at running back. Because running backs are a luxury. They're not a necessity. How many times am I going to say this? And the crazy thing to me, I always go back to the whole Jim Harbaugh situation, drafting Joe Alt, cutting against the grain, not going for a receiver or a skill position when fans were calling for it. The Raiders crumbled under the pressure from the media and the fans and drafted Ashton Jeanty when they had bigger needs. Yes, the run game was terrible, but drafting an elite running back when you don't have the support system for him to produce makes no sense. Even if Ashton Jeanty breaks out and has a phenomenal rest of his season, finishes as a Pro Bowler, it will mean nothing when in 4 or 5 years he is on a contender fighting for a Super Bowl just like Josh Jacobs. We've seen it happen again and again and again. Teams that are suffering can't go out and spend draft capital or money on elite running backs. It doesn't make sense. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying run games are unnecessary and you don't need them to win. I don't believe that. I think if it wasn't true in the past, it's very true now. Run games help you so much when it gets to the playoffs. When it's cold outside in January and you're fighting in Buffalo to win a game, you need a good run game to win in this league. You don't necessarily need an elite running back, but it definitely helps, and it can get you to a Super Bowl. I think a guy like Derrick Henry is helping the Ravens right now. I think CMC has done that for the Niners. I think Josh Jacobs will do that with the Packers. I think Saquon Barkley did it for Philly last year. Like, we've seen it time and time again. A good running game, not just a good running back, but a solid run game can take you very far in the NFL. But there's a time and a place for everything. When you have questions on the defense, when you have questions on the O-line, when your quarterback isn't a top 12 or a top 15 guy, it makes no sense to go and draft Ashton Jeanty when eventually he will move on to a team that will use him and win with him. So let me make this very clear. This is not me bashing Ashton Jeanty, the player. I just don't agree with the fit in Las Vegas. And teams just don't learn. You build the team first, then you grab the elite running back as the finishing touch. Not the opposite. You don't go the other way. You don't go elite running back and build the team. Because once, you finally made it, your running back's asking for a monster contract and he ends up going somewhere else where the contender sweeps him off his feet, takes him, and he uses him to win a Super Bowl. So far this season, Ashton Jeanty's got like 80 yards on the year. The offensive line is brutal. He can't do anything. It's not even his fault, which is why I feel bad. And I hate to say I told you so, but so many people were in love with the pick because Jeanty's a generational talent. Unfortunately, that doesn't always translate to the NFL. You can't just bet on a generational talent and not provide support, especially when you're a position that relies heavily on another position group, running back and offensive line, receiver and quarterback, I find. Unless you're an absolutely elite receiver, you can make it out, but still, like Chase is going to do better with Burrow than he's going to do with Browning. So, anyways, I digress. I'm sure Ashton Jeanty will have a great career in the NFL. I just don't think it was the right move for the Raiders to draft him at 6.